What's up, guys? Welcome to the best games of the year. Last video, I did the worst games of the year, link in the description, and at the end of the video to go to that. I couldn't do author put an annotation, now I'm too lazy. So, yeah, that's the kind of effort you get on my channel. So I'm gonna start off with some honorable mentions. These are games I thought were really, really good, but not quite good enough to get into my top 10. I think that's how much I have. Let me check. That's actually a top 9. Oh, okay. Fantastic. Alright, so games like Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch are really good, but I felt like they weren't really good enough to get into the list. Ni no Kuni, I thought, was an excellent game with a gorgeous art style. I mean, seriously gorgeous. It's one of the best JRPGs I've played in a long time. Some problems I had with it, though, were sort of the brawling system was a bit too sluggish for me. That's sort of what kept it back from being a lot better, but the story and the art style was fantastic. Super Mario 3D World I did really like, though it was just Mario. It didn't do anything new, so it's just Mario. But Mario is never really a bad thing, and that's why it's such a good game. BioShock Infinite, I did love BioShock Infinite. It was a super gorgeous game. The story and the world was fantastic, but the shooting was sort of dull at points. That sort of held it back. And The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, I did love. I thought it was an excellent game, and it's much like Super Mario 3D World. It's just Zelda. It's never really a bad thing about it. I don't think I can put it in the top 10. Sorry, top 9. Well, it would be top 10, whatever. I can't put it in that list if it didn't do anything really new, and it didn't. It's just same old Zelda. But still, I do love Zelda, and this is one of probably actually the best handheld Zelda yet. So that's great. All right, let's get on with the list. Number 9, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I did very much enjoy Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, much unlike the other Assassin's Creed games. I actually had fun with this game. It had so much variety in its world, its huge world, I might add. It had gorgeous graphics, so much detail. You could just go to any island and find something new and interesting. The gameplay was spectacular. The sailing on the boats was excellent. Running on foot was pretty awesome as well. It just felt so much more rich than the other Assassin's Creed games. It felt like it was such a fuller, I know that's not a real word, but it was such a more full experience. I'm really tired right now. Please excuse any talking I do, whatever that means. It really felt like you were actually a pirate, and no other game has made me feel like a pirate. I've always wanted to feel like a pirate, because they're cool, even though ninjas are better. Whatever. Next. Number 8, Deadpool. Ignore all what the critics say about the gameplay. Actually, no, don't ignore that, because the gameplay in Deadpool is kind of weak, but the humor is spot on. I've not played a funnier game than Deadpool in a really long time. Every time I booted up, I was just dying of laughter. Sure, it was crude. Sure, it was kind of obscene, but it was just hilarious. It really felt like you were inside the fictional character of Deadpool's mind when you were playing this game. It was hilarious. And even though the gameplay was sort of repetitive, and there is a huge difficulty spike at the end, the hack and slashing was quite fun, teleporting around was fun, and smashing people in the face with hammers is always fun. And playing as Deadpool while doing that is just the cherry on top of the haystack, whatever that means. Number 7, The Last of Us. I know this may surprise you not being a bit higher, but I did have some problems with what The Last of Us did with the gameplay, but the story is incredible. It is one of the best stories I've ever played in the game. The narrative and the writing makes you feel like Joel and Ellie and all the other people in the game are real people. You feel like they're there. I don't know how these guys did. Every reaction they have is what people in real life would do, and not many other games can nail that perfection well. The narrative completely drove The Last of Us, and it had such a gorgeous world. And even the gameplay was really good. You know, walking around, smack people in the face was fun. It just wasn't the best, but I still love The Last of Us, and I think it is the best PS3 exclusive other than Uncharted. Number 6, Tearaway. I loved Tearaway. This was an excellent game. It is short, but it is it is spot on. It's the most creative game I've played in a long time. It sort of took Paper Mario's thing of using paper to construct the world and took that a step further. You really feel like you're just in this arts and crafts world, but it is so gorgeous, and the story is wonderful, and the gameplay is incredible. Walking around these environments, interacting with them, putting like weird messy faces on a pig, and then riding him, smashing through the thing, driving off a cliff. It is a weird game, I'll tell you that. It made me smile. No other game this year has made me smile as much as Tearaway. Whether it be seeing my face in the sun and making a funny face, or like stapling a paper penis to a monkey's head. Again, it is a weird game. No game has this much creativity in it, and it is wonderful. And the ending is, it's just gorgeous. Play Tearaway. It is the best PlayStation Vita game, and the best handheld game of the year. Probably one of the best handheld games for a while, actually, now thinking about it. Number 5, Antechamber. This was a game that was created to mess with you. And I know some people may have problems with that, but I love getting messed with, and Antechamber was perfect. It did such a good job at making puzzles that were really hard to figure out, but once you did figure them out, you're like, oh, how did I not figure that out earlier? It constantly just messes with your brain, whether it be like walking down a hallway, turning around and the hallway's different than when you walked in it, or just looking all the way around a cube and it's different on each side. That sort of stuff Antechamber does, and it really enriches you in its world. You feel like you're in a world, but then you also don't. It's hard to explain, but Antechamber is one of the best first-person puzzle games I've ever played, other than, Portal and stuff like that. Number 4, The Stanley Parable. I kind of want to put this at number 8, just for being funny, but no, I'm not going to. I think that's what everybody said, but, whatever. The Stanley Parable was a game that, much like Antechamber, messed with you, but in sort of a different way. In Stanley Parable, you play as Stanley, obviously, and you're always the butt of the joke by this narrator who he's not really a real person. It's never explained where he is or what he is, but he's a narrator, and he always jokes at you because you're playing as Stanley. You're always the butt of the joke, and I don't know why I love that so much. The Stanley Parable has pitch-perfect humor. It is the most clever game I've ever played to a certain extent. It really... Every time you think you've outsmarted the game has outsmarted you, and you're just in for more laughs. Every time you try to beat the narrator in this game, the narrator beats you, and then every ending, there are like a bajillion endings to this game, every ending is hilarious in the weirdest ways, and it is one of the best storytelling games I've ever played. So the Stanley Parable comes in at number 4, or whatever number I'm at. Number 3, Gunpoint. Gunpoint was a game that made you feel like a badass through and through. No other game has made me feel like just like an awesome secret agent person, and that's why I'm really excited for Watch Dogs, because this was sort of like a 2D Watch Dogs. Gunpoint had you playing as a secret agent with super amazing, super special froggy jumpsuits of super specialness, and you just did stuff, and you had a tool that could rewire anything. No other game has made me feel like I was in such control of everything. Even when you think that you're, like, the level is gonna overwhelm you because it's so big, you always find ways to sort of beat everything. It's hard to explain, I'm having trouble explaining it, but Gunpoint really did make you feel like you were a badass, and you were, because whether it be jumping through a window on someone's head and then turning them into paste, or like rewiring someone's gun to shoot another guy, and then like turning off the lights and making a guy spark another guy with a power outlet. Stuff like that just made you feel so happy. I don't know why, but Gunpoint is fantastic, and with the super in-depth level editor, if I could talk, with the super in-depth level editor, the fun never has to end. So you can keep on killing people in the weirdest ways forever, for all eternity. Yay. Number 2. Alright, so number 2 is actually sort of the game I enjoyed playing the most this year. That game is Grand Theft Auto 5. I know you're all gonna hate me for not putting this at number 1, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is such... It's one of the best games I've ever played. The level of detail that Rockstar put in this game is mind-blowing. I don't know how they did it, but it is incredible. You really feel like the world of Grand Theft Auto 5 is like a real world. They have such finite details. It's incredible. I don't know how they did it. They're wizards, really, at Rockstar. I think they in Scotland, whatever. I don't care. It's such a wonderful game. You could just do anything you wanted. It's a magical game in the most obscene way. There's so much fun in Grand Theft Auto 5. There's so much fun to be had. You could do anything you wanted in this huge world that they gave you, and even if you just walk around for a few seconds, you find something new. And I've played it a lot, and I'm still finding new stuff. That's how amazing it is. Grand Theft Auto 5 should be like the benchmark that games should try to overcome, open world games should try to overcome, because what Rockstar did was they've created a game so big, so massive, with characters that I actually sort of cared for, even though they weren't good people. The story was incredible. Other open world games should look up to Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's also the biggest entertainment thing of all time, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, so that's good. Go Scotland, they beat Hollywood and every other part of the world. Yay! Alright, number 1 is the best game of the year, even though Grand Theft Auto 5 is sort of my favorite game of the year. This game is pretty much perfect. That game is Papers, Please. This game is so good. It was a game that sort of took you in. I didn't know what to expect when I was playing Papers, Please. It took you in, and it just punched you in the face. What Papers, Please did was it turned you into a person who had to sort of screw other people over for your family. It gave you choices that you didn't expect from it, because it's just a simple border patrol game at first, and then you have to start choosing, because you need more money, but do you want to help people to get in, then you're going to lose money, or do you want to screw people over and get more money for your family and all stuff? Those are choices that are so hard to make. And then later, when 2 of your family members get ill, this is just what happened for me, because I suck. 2 of my family members got ill. You had to choose only one to save. That's a choice that no one could ever make in real life. And even though it's virtual in Papers, Please, you still feel it, and it turns you into such a corrupt person. And I know that doesn't sound appealing, but it really is. The gameplay, the story, the atmosphere, everything in Papers, Please is perfection. It is a perfect game, and it's only $10, and I think it's $6 on the Steam sale going on right now. So you have to buy Papers, Please, and every other game on this list, because they're all incredible, and those are my 9 favorite games of 2013. I haven't played every game that came out this year, mind you, but yeah, you know. These are the best anyway. And this is my opinion. This is only my opinion. If you disagree, don't shout at me. Just comment below, tell me what you think. And yeah, so stay tuned on the Smash Raccoons, my second channel. We will have a Game of the Year 20-minute discussion podcast thing coming soon, probably in the new year, I'm not sure. So that'll be fun. Look forward to that. And more videos in the new year. This may be the last video I can get out before the new year. I'll try to see what I can do. So thank you all for an incredible 2013. We hit 200 subscribers this year. How amazing is that? Alright, I will see you guys in 2014 for more amazing stuff. See you guys all later.